Julie Chen Moonves? Is her future in jeopardy at CBS? Plus, it's Emmys Weekend. Predictions and previews. And how are SNL's hosts going to take on the telecast in the Me Too era? Fox News creepy porn gate and the New York Times big blunder. All this and more on Meet the Hollywood Press for September 16th, 2018. I'm Alina Vission, and now your host of Meet the Hollywood Press, Joseph Kapsch.
Happy Sunday, everybody. I am Joseph Kapsch, Chen Moonves. Thank you for tuning in.
You didn't.
And the sound of that in the distance is like my career credibility crashing over a cliff, Thelma and Louise style. Anyway.
She's in the trunk.
Yes, pretty much. We will dive into that in a second after I welcome my lovely co-host, Alina Vission.
Hi, happy Sunday, everyone.
I swear, when I watch you, Alina, do the open, you never cease to amaze me how you just, I love this girl. She just nails
thank
it.
You.
My dad also loves you, so I should say.
Then I love your dad.
He watches religiously. Hopefully he's
Dad.
watching now. Hey, Dad. He watches us live, so he's
Awesome.
like, one of the 5 that watch us live right now.
Awesome.
But he loves you. He thinks you're great, and I think you're great. So
Thank you.
How's your weekend going?
It's going good. I love being here on Sundays, so
what was
got a lot in.
Exactly. What was on your Instagram? You did a premiere or something on?
Yeah, I did the Predator premiere last Wednesday, so you can check out all of those interviews on BlackHollywoodLive.com.
Perfect. Because the interesting thing, and let me first introduce our guests to viewers. Joining us at the Meet the Hollywood Press table, straight from the East Coast this weekend, Samantha Goldberg. She is E-Style Network host. Tell the audience some of the shows you're working on and what you got cooking right now.
Well, the shows that I have been working on, Whose Wedding Is It Anyway, Married Away, Talk Soup.
Yeah.
I'm currently working on an Oswald English production called Like. It's a millennial game show with like rappers and like sopranos, and it's all about
like from the show, like former actors.
Like yes.
Okay, got it.
Oh, it's awesome! I'm so excited. Okay. And I'm also working on my own talk show.
Oh,
so
right
actually
on.
Yes, it's called Get Real with Samantha Goldberg.
Yes.
I've had that before on the East Coast, so I had it with Comcast.
Oh, right on.
So still working that, but Whose Wedding and Married Away still aired in 130 countries. So I'm working that, and then I'm a correspondent for CNN and ABC and Good Morning America, and
You're a busy gal.
I'm a busy gal.
And a sassy gal is your
and
Twitter
a sassy
profile.
gal. I know, sassy Sam. I know. And
You were pitched to me as a sassy gal.
I know. Please
sassy
put her
gal
on because
Samantha.
she's really sassy. Right that. And I was just really honest.
We got an interesting email. So like on our social media now, which is obviously new, it's and it's slowly building. We're not that large on Twitter yet, but our Facebook has a really good following. And we got a really complimentary email. I just want to touch on this for 1 second and we'll dive into the stories. But they were basically saying like, oh, we love the show and we love the thing, but like you and Alina should really talk a little more about like yourselves. And I'm like, I think we need to get a little bit bigger before we think that people want to hear. So I'm sort of like, that's really flattering, but like most people coming to us, I would think are coming for us news. But that's why I was like, let me inject a little bit and make sure my dad loves you. But yeah, it was really sweet. They were like, I guess they were relating it to like the way Howard and like Robin, they banter like, so this weekend I went and saw this movie or this and that. So we'll see as we go. The show will continue to evolve.
Well, your hair today, you were saying how great you felt your hair looked.
Oh, thanks for telling
and
everybody.
It does. Looks fabulous.
Okay, so that being said, Julie Chen Moonves, is her CBS future in jeopardy? Okay. Just to back up, last week we spent a significant time talking about the Les Moonves, Me Too fallout. And to just very quickly recap, because anyone tuning into our show probably is well in the know about this, but Les Moonves last Sunday, right before, pretty much as we were going on the air, was out, stepped down as CEO of CBS. There was still sort of questions was whether he was going to get this golden parachute, and then Time's Up came out very strongly. The industry started coming out. Okay, so cut to this week. Julie Chen puts out a statement that she's going to take, understandably, a couple days off to be with her family. Completely understandable. She was not on the talk, and obviously it had the industry buzzing. And the last that anyone had heard from her about her husband, Les Moonves' scandal was the first Ronan Farrow article where she, stood by him very what's the word I'm looking for?
Stand by your man.
Passionately, and just said that was going to be the one statement, and then, forever, will stand by him. Okay, so now we get this really graphic second article with 6 more women, which bringing up to a total of 12. What we should say is, on the show last week, our panelists, Itai Hod, Merle Ginsburg, Alina, and I, pretty much laid out what was going to go. I was so proud of us after I watched our show. We laid out everything.
Yeah.
Everything the New York Times reported, everything about the board, like we laid it out like that. The board was initially behind him. They were standing by their guy. Then it was like, it wasn't until there was a turning point where they found out more information and that he was like lying and withholding information, that Jeff Fager, the executive producer of 60 Minutes, we were like, he's out. And what we also predicted was that we didn't see an equation where Julie Chen would be staying. She's still there. She returned. She stayed absent from the talk as her TalkCast co-host basically talked about it uncomfortably and really came out with their opinions. She then returned to Big Brother and signed off as Julie Chen Moonves and set the internet abuzz and all the industry buzzing.
On fire.
Samantha and Alina,
Focus off her.
what do we think about this?
Honestly, she's trying to keep focus off her. I think the big issue is, CBS is a pretty predominant station, and does the talk want drama right now? And that her leaving was probably not her decision. It was probably theirs.
No, well, she took a break from the talk.
She did take a break.
Yeah, she took a break.
She took a break because of
we
all
don't
the
know.
things that were happening in the media. But
Yeah.
the bottom line is, standing by your man. How do you really stand by your man? I mean, think about all the people that we've learned in the media today that are cheating on their husbands. Stand by their men, or husbands that cheat on them, like J-Lo, Bill Cosby. Look what happened there, okay? I know that was a bad one. But seriously, she is just in that denial stage right now, and it's like, my image is so prominent. My image is so put together, and I am this very astute, and I'm going to stand behind our family because I know our marriage is going to work, and I know he wouldn't do this. And the bottom line is, I think the reality hasn't hit her yet. And I think it's going to hit her, and it's going to hit her hard. That will interfere with her position of the talk.
Alina, what was your first reaction? Because I think, yeah, go ahead.
So my first reaction, especially when she said the Julie Chen Moonves, which she has never said, ever, I feel was really just, like you said, a stand by your man, but it was also giving like a huge middle finger to the people who came out with, to the women who came out with these stories, and kind of I felt to the movement. Look, when you love someone and you're married to them, it's really hard to switch that off.
Yes.
So I'm sure she's going through it on her own.
Yeah.
But I think the way she came about it was completely wrong.
Completely wrong.
Yeah.
And
Denial.
There was some
total denial.
Exactly. But there were some reports that also put the blame of it that like producers had kind of told her to do it, and no one's going to tell Julie Chen what she's going to do. She did
it. It's her mouth.
It's her
saying
mouth.
What she's.
I thought just in the flippant sort of kind of way that it was done, but yeah, you're like, it was just shocking to me.
Right.
So also just, she has to speak on this though. Like there's no equation where she can return to the talk and continue to not address this, okay? I actually had, and I sent this on Twitter this weekend, Facebook, I said I had every sympathy for her, because I think when a woman is put in this position, it's extremely difficult because nobody knows what she knew, what she didn't know, what's the inside of their marriage look like, and I think she's damned if she does, she's damned if she, so it's difficult as it is. It doesn't help though. There is 12 women here that came forward with stories. They cannot just be discounted, okay? So there has to be some kind of statement of some sort, and I hope that it comes sooner than later.
It should come from her also, because what she's doing is disregarding that he's dipped his stick into 12 other women.
Nope.
Like seriously, like she's not going to be a born again virgin if he comes back and says he didn't do it. He did it.
Yeah.
He did it, and she knows it, and she's going to live in this perfect persona right now, because look how about Hillary. You know what? I'm going to stand by my husband.
Hillary
Clinton.
Oh,
I'm going to stand by my husband. Look what that did. They probably sleep on opposite ends of the White House when they were in the White House together. They probably live in different houses now.
That's a whole nother
Oh,
conversation.
yes, it is.
Yes.
But think
But I
about
should
all the
mention I'm
things
a
there.
staunch Hillary Clinton supporter.
Oh, goodness me.
Yes.
You don't want the sassy
But
Sam
we're-
coming out on there.
That's another episode.
Exactly.
That's
I know. That's like for
another
another
story.
conversation. But seriously,
But-
she's just doing it because that's what her publicist is probably telling her. Stand by your man. Make your statement, make it strong. But you know what? It is disregarding for the other women. It's not just one woman, it's 12 women. And we
Yeah.
don't even know if it's 12 women. It could be more. This is just
Right.
the very beginning. This thing is going to blow up.
Even more. Okay, so cutting to the next part of this story. Okay, so after the 12 women, the other 6 came forward on Sunday. Designing Women, one of the CBS's most successful shows on the network. Linda Bloodworth Thomason, who was the creator of that. Did you both read the THR op-ed that she put out? If not, I'll give you a gist of it. So they published this week where she basically, just because not all harassment has to be sexual.
Right.
If her story is to be believed, that she basically spent like a 10-year relationship at the network, basically where Les Moonves had her on a holding deal just to basically psychologically screw her over and over and over. Because apparently, from her mouth in the piece, by the way, which she starts out saying, this is not going to be the piece that you think it's going to be. This is going to be anger and me dancing on his career grave, and not just
Right.
dancing. She said, doing the Macarena and cha-cha. The whole thing was just like, oh my God. So like, it just must have been so cathartic. But
Right.
she basically said that that in her view, he didn't like the whole feminist bent that Designing Women had. And from the get-go, he took over the network when it already was a hit. And he came to the first table read, and she could tell from day one, he stared her down, and she just knew she was in for it because she couldn't charm him with her southern charm. And it turned into this, like, she was held like on a $50 million deal, and she said she would see him and she'd submit pilots, and he would say to her, I read the pilot, it's one of the best I've ever read, but I decided not to do it. And she was saying how she thinks he got a
Wow.
sick thrill out of continually just leaving her
Screwing
in
with her head.
in
Right.
purgatory, career purgatory. So the best quote was just like, people would always say, what has happened to you? Where's your, how come? She says, Les Moonves happened to me. I tend to believe this woman when I read this story.
Right.
I think when you suffer trauma, the detail, this is always as a journalist too.
The detail.
The detail.
Yes.
When you are a journalist, you are trained to kind of, if you're a good journalist,
Right.
which we are, you are
Of
trained
course
to
you
know
are.
you have a bullshit detector. And when somebody has the kind of details that she has, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, that's the truth.
Right.
Because you don't remember those details. You do remember those. People are like,
Right.
how do you remember? How do these women remember what happened in
Because
the 80s?
if you're traumatized,
it's
you
trauma.
will remember that.
Yes, exactly.
If your career that you've built so strong is in jeopardy, you remember.
Yes.
Right.
And you're intimidated, so you're going to do what you have to do to save what you've worked so strong for.
And think about that. Like 9/11, we just recognized again. I could still remember like it was yesterday where I was
Right,
in LA at the
exactly.
moment when all
Everybody
of us can.
remembers.
So it's not unbelievable that these women would remember their stories. Also, the Supreme Court nominee is now again
Yeah.
Ronan Farrow.
Right.
I tell you.
Kavanaugh is now.
Kavanaugh is now
yeah.
under fire and the woman came forward. It's just, it's not good. I'm glad it's not going to stop, and it needs to keep continuing
Right.
until the culture and the world has changed. So is there any other final thoughts on Julie? I mean, I personally think there's probably negotiations probably going on, and like, what are they going to do? Do you see, Alina, any equation where she can stay?
I find it so hard because, especially on the talk, she's going to feel awkward anytime they're talking about a Me Too story, or anytime they're talking about a relationship story. I would feel that she would, be a little bit uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, her co-host on the talk, like you said, came out this week. During the first story, Sharon Osbourne was very like team Julie, team,
Yes.
Les. And then she said this week, these stories are so similar, the pattern is so similar. He has not been convicted of any crime, but obviously the man has a problem. So I think, opinions are starting to turn. Right.
The interesting part of that segment too, Sharon Osbourne totally spilled the tea that she goes, I know him in a tangential
Right.
way, in a superficial way. And she goes, I was asked to make a statement. And she threw them right under the bus, very subtly, but it was like, so they basically asked her to come out and support it. And of course she's going to, because she's thinking this is Les, he's going to get off. He's still going to be the boss of the
Right.
network. But she totally blew up their spot. She was asked to make that statement, and now she basically backtracked on it.
Yeah.
By the way, the talk was the best I've ever seen those episodes this week when they were talking about this, because they got real.
And that's what people want to see. It's you getting real.
Well, that's why, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch, like, I prefer The View personally because I like the grittier, like...
I like The View.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
The talk to me seems very fluffy. And it's not that I think, I love all the women on it. I think
Right.
they're super talented at what they do. But the conversation on The View is more up my alley for what they're going to talk about.
They're very straightforward.
Yes. Okay, any final thoughts on Julie?
I think we're going to be surprised in the next couple weeks. I think they're probably going to make a special with just her to talk about the logistics of what's happening. But I think that she's going to have some decisions to make.
Like a sit down?
I think they're going to have a sit down.
That'd
That'd
be
be
interesting.
interesting.
I gotta
Yeah,
tell
that would
you,
be
I think for
interesting.
her, that would be in her best interest to save her position on CBS if she actually sat down and not became so defensive and more so just took in a lot of the questions, answered them, and looked at this from an outside perspective. Yes, it's your husband. Yes, you stand by your husband, but don't disregard all of the outside factors that make this very real. This is
Yeah.
a story that's not just a today story. This is something that's been going on for a while. And so pay attention. And the special would actually do good,
Excuse
I
me.
think. If you ever watch anybody who's had their own special to talk about things they've had going wrong,
Right.
you know what? It's turned things around. And
Yeah.
I really do think
Think
she'll
about,
have
like-
a chance if
yeah.
they do a stand alone. I really do believe that.
Well, I mean, people in general are forgivers. Like, you know what I mean? America always loves a comeback, but I think it always is. But if you're authentic, you've
Right.
got to put your truth out there. So it's like, just be honest. Like, what the hell went down? Like, I didn't know about this. When the first
Right.
article came out, I didn't know that there was the rest of the stuff. I mean, reading the New York Times report that came out with how he was in survival mode because he withheld like pieces of information like from selective board members to he was so if he was able to be like that deceitful to like with the stakes that were in his career, why would he not be the same way to save his marriage? You know, and
It's
again, I'm
questionable.
not a psychologist, but I'm saying just from an observational standpoint of what I'm reading and surmising.
But it's questionable, and that's the problem, is that you can't change your story once you said those things. You
Yeah.
can't go back and say, I didn't say that, or this didn't really happen this way, let me explain it.
Yeah.
So this is gonna really be about her.
The other part that was shocking was that the whole second tier of this, where he launched the lawsuit against Viacom over the whole, the control of the potential merger. He did that knowing that all of this was going on, and that's where the board like hit the roof, because when it actually came to pass that he knew it and still allowed them to enter into that. Some of them got furious. He like slowly it went like where his board support eroded.
Like
so it just,
landmines.
But
just
don't you
going
think he
off.
got direction from somebody? Like, you know, when you have something that's going on that's personal, you have your publicist, you have people that tell you, continue doing what you're doing. Don't let the outside focus,
I
really
think a person
be-
like when it's like like an actress, an actor, yes, they have a team that's guiding them, but he's an executive, he's guiding himself.
Right.
Do you think he has something up his sleeve? Like there's a reason, like now? Like
he
why
doesn't have
now?
to work ever
No,
again.
he
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't have to
He's
work ever
good.
again.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I think it's, again, we talked about this.
It's
the
ego.
power and
Yeah.
ego. It's just like,
Right.
there's still, like, I always say to people when they're like, well, what are you going to, I don't want to be running a newsroom and doing like what I'm doing like now when I'm like 70, but then some of these people that are that age are still doing it. And I'm like, why? The power, the ego.
You just got to keep the hair, though.
It's like irrelevancy. Like they want relevancy. They want,
Truth.
yeah. Okay, moving on from that to something a little fluffier affair. We've got Emmy Weekend going on right now.
Ooh, yes.
So before, basically a lot of parties, hold on, because I'm not going to remember all these parties off the top of my head, but like Variety had their nominee party last night.
With HBO.
Yes. No, HBO will be the one that's after on Monday night. But they basically, like, THR did their nominees a night with SAG-AFTRA. It's basically been nonstop, like all weekend. Audi did their annual party on Friday. So all the celebrities from also New York have descended upon us. So I want to just, though, cut to what I find the most interesting thing to talk about is the two hosts of the Emmys, SNL, Colin, Jost, and Michael Shea, who are the hosts of Weekend Update, are taking it on. But this is the first Emmys telecast since the Me Too era.
Yes.
Now, the other award shows had to handle it,
Right.
if you remember. So they have there's a fine line between, where they can make jokes. And Lorne Michaels, who's also the executive producer of SNL, is also executive producing the Emmys for the first time in years. I think the last time he did it was in the 80s. What do you think? Do you think comedians, is there a threshold to where they can go with these kinds of jokes? I think it's going to be open season, I'm assuming, on Les Moonves because it's on NBC.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Saturday Night Live, as we know last year, I mean, they took things to another level.
Yes.
And I think this year it's going to be taken to a totally different level. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any limits. I think that people watch it, they enjoy it. Everything is political, and they're going to take it to the max. And they are definitely going to involve that situation, for sure. Are you kidding me? They're probably going to reenact it.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, stand by my man. Oh. And
Yeah.
it's going to be something like that. I would love to see the two
Oh, you mean
hosts
you
of
think
they're skits.
skits?
Oh,
I wonder if
absolutely.
they will do skits.
Oh, yes, they will. I can see them doing mini skits.
We'll
I
see.
think afterwards, I said that will be interesting.
Well, I also think that with the Me Too movement, for instance, there's obviously going to, I'm assuming, a showing of support on the red carpet like there always is, when they wore Time's Up pins and things like that. I think the part that we're getting to now is when they addressed Harvey Weinstein, they had to at the Oscars or whatever. The whole room erupted because it was it's going to be interesting just to see where the line that SNL, because here's the other thing at stake, the viewer erosion. So every year they hit a record low. I think it was 11 million viewers or something. So all eyes are on just this, they're trying something new, less known hosts, but SNL's coming off these seasons where their ratings are sky high and they're trying to capitalize on that. That being said, I personally think the way that TV has segmented, and you've got the Emmy Awards airing on a broadcast station that is all honoring the streaming and cable shows, to me, how is that a long-term prospect?
I don't see it being long-term.
Shouldn't Netflix or HBO just start airing the Emmys?
I mean, that would be something different, and I think it would allow them maybe a little bit more leeway as to what they can do.
Yes.
I totally see what you're saying, because when you look at the list of nominees in the different categories, it's pretty much all streaming television shows.
Exactly.
And so it's okay, here's a network that's trying
Here's
to...
all the shows that you can't find
watch on
our...
NBC.
Hey, welcome to NBC. Welcome to the Emmys. Here's all the shows nominated that you can't find on our network.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of weird. I mean, if I was running the network, honestly, which I'm not, but it's I would not want to run that. I wouldn't want to run an award show that just highlights the fact that my shows got overlooked.
Okay, so I'm going to be a little sassy here.
Yeah.
Okay, so NBC, what if the ratings are just not really great? What if this could be something that could boost their numbers by talking about something else, even though you can't see all this on NBC? If it was something that's kind of not a ploy, but a plan to try and boost the numbers by having something different? If nobody's been doing this, and this is something new for them too.
Meaning they're moving it to, you mean by the Monday night move?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a weekend. I mean, we still have people from school that are going to be watching it. You still have parents that are going to let their kids stay up to watch it. And the kids are the ones, I'll tell you something, the millennium, they're the ones that are watching all these shows on these other channels. So why wouldn't it be on an NBC where maybe NBC's numbers is not where they need to be, and maybe this will be the factor that brings them a little bit higher?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
I just don't think that kids millennials and younger people that watch 13 Reasons Why just want to watch an award show. It's basic. We know this as industry. I know this as an industry insider. It's Hollywood's self-masturbatory event created by Hollywood, brought to you by Hollywood.
It's a good word, right?
It is.
Campaigns paid for Hollywood. It's not
true.
even. And I want to think that the quality of the show is always the determinant. It's not who ran the best campaign, who reached the most voters. This is what like the normal consumer doesn't necessarily know.
They want to see who they see.
Yeah.
They want to see who they watch,
Exactly.
and they're rooting for the people they enjoy watching the most. That is what the millennials watch.
I mean, and I think the shows are too long, too. Millennials' attention spans are very short.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Well, it's either that or it's like, on demand or Netflix.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what's happening
Yeah.
right now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know I have a 15-year-old daughter, and that's what she does. She just says,
on
I
demand.
just
She
watched.
cut the cord.
Oh my God, I'm telling you,
I
like
cut
I
the
said to her,
cord.
Yeah.
it was
I'm
like
about
watching
to.
Lost, right?
Yeah.
I just watched the 15th season of Lost. I'm like, why? You just wasted the whole freaking summer. So but that's what's happening. These
Yeah.
kids
Right.
aren't outside, playing outside, doing things with their friends. They're watching all these series and they're catching up because they've been in school.
I will say, though,
Yeah.
with streaming, because I cut the cord, I think, 2 years ago, scariest thing, but
Yeah.
the best thing.
Yeah.
When I do want to watch award shows, a lot of the times, like if you have, either YouTube TV or Sling or Hulu or any of those that
Yes.
you still can get the networks on, they'll block out the award shows, so you can't watch it.
Oh,
certain
they
networks.
will?
Yeah, or
So they're
certain
like-
special programmings. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing
That
to do
doesn't make
because
sense.
then you're losing that audience.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand.
Which is so, I don't understand either, because also just the way, I think it's just still TV networks still bringing in such a significant amount of money and still having power over this. Just, we're going to it's a multi-platform universe where you
Yes.
sell across all platforms. Advertising is across all platforms, but TV is still such a significant, it's just until the numbers even out.
Right.
I think
that it's
NBC
gonna
is
change.
trying something new. I really stand strong on that. I really think they're trying something new. I think this is going to be something new, and it'll be really interesting to see how their numbers are after this is aired.
Do you think that a lot of people attributed the record low ratings to how political the award shows got? That it turned off a certain segment of America. Do you think that's true?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You do?
Where do you think Saturday Night Live gets their skits from? Where do you think people get their material from these shows? This gives them the freedom to kind of express their opinions, whether it's during the show or after the show, and it does cause more viewers because you never know what you're going to get. What are these two people going to say? What exactly are they going to say?
No,
What are they
no.
gonna start
I'm
off with?
saying they're saying that, meaning like viewers tuned in. And they're then seeing how political it is, and to some viewers, one-sided. Like it's always obviously more liberal, and that turns off a lot
They
of
try to
more
keep it
like
liberal.
red state America. You
Right.
know. So do you think that Alina? Do you think that has a bearing?
I mean, yeah, I think it does. There are obviously people that aren't going to tune in because they think it's too liberal. But at the same time, I think, the younger generation is a little bit more liberal than the older generation.
Yes.
So that's the target audience that they should be going for.
Yes.
Is them, if they're going to keep it, that political. I mean, Saturday Night Live does a great job of political satire.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
No matter, whether you're on the right or on the left.
It's
depending
hilarious.
on, whoever is president at the
doesn't matter,
time,
they're
it
gonna
doesn't
laugh
matter.
anyway.
Exactly.
They're funny.
So, and that's what people like to watch, and that's why their ratings are sky high and have been for the past couple of years. So I think it's fine to touch on the political aspect of everything. Obviously, if every single joke is that, it's going to turn off people.
You'll know with the very first things they say. You know how it's going to start off with the very first things they say.
Well,
Absolutely.
From the monologue. But the interesting thing about it is that, to me, our media has shifted that. It's like to not. It's like this huge elephant in the room, and I mean figuratively and literally, to like not mention Trump. It's sort of like you can't exist. Like that's why for me, celebrity news personally has to me it's like, in the society we live, do we really care if the Jenners got like a new lip injection? Like to me that's not important in the grand scheme of life right now, that you have kids in cages at the border that can't be reunited with their family.
Correct.
So we lived in an era back in the day, towards 9/11, when people were looking for outlets to kind of like escape things, but it's like we have too serious of a situation going on right now. So
they're going to make light of it. I think comedy makes light of it, and I think that's what's going to cause people not to turn away.
Yeah.
I think if the monologue starts off well, I think you're going to see a lot more people stay on to watch and see what's going to happen.
So speaking of light, to shift a little bit, you're here because you're a style host. Tell us about some fashion trends that we should be looking for on the red carpet tomorrow.
Okay, so a lot of the things that we're seeing right now, it's kind of funny because you can intertwine them with weddings and, all events.
Yes.
Like, it's not just that. You're seeing a lot of lace. You're seeing a lot of schlumpiness, which really scares me because I'm wondering what's going to be on the red carpet tomorrow. I'm like, I've seen some of those photos, and they're really scary. It's in Rain Reynolds. Oh, God.
You mean from the
disaster.
pre-parties?
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Now, describe what is the schlumpiness.
Yeah,
Oh, my
exactly.
God. You guys, ready? Here it goes. Ready?
Oh.
And it's like,
Wait,
it's
you
like
mean their actual posture or the dress?
Oh, it's just the whole package, babe.
Oh.
The whole package.
But I'm not.
Like this cobalt blue and this lace and like the undergarments and like where's the boobs? Where's the the gut? Where's the ass? Like where's all of that?
Maybe Me Too's affected how people want to present themselves. Could that be? I'm asking
You cannot wear. A lot of the dresses now are obviously floor length and they're A-line, and you have a lot of fashion trends where it's on the sleeve again. We're going back to the 40s. Some things are actually going back to the 50s.
Yeah.
And certain people shouldn't be wearing that stuff. They just shouldn't. And it looks great on the mannequin, but girl, it doesn't look great on you. But yes, this fringe, shake, back in the 40s. Not when you got crisscross and everything else going on here. Crisscross applesauce, as I was saying earlier. You know, that's just scary.
What colors would you think that we're going to see a lot of?
I think we're going to see a lot of cobalt blue.
Okay.
I see
Ooh, that's my favorite color.
Absolutely. But the problem is, in lace and a schlumpy body, it's all wrong.
Yeah, that's very true.
I saw some photos and I was like, I'm not going to mention any names. All I got to say is,
let's-
this was the look here. I was like this.
Let's
And here's
not.
me. It's like this. Zip. Here's me. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm here and I'm nominated. And just, I don't get how.
Which women attending the awards tomorrow are you most looking forward to seeing what they're going to wear?
I want to see some of the
And men.
Okay,
Sorry,
cool.
and men.
Yeah.
Before I'll get lynched. I want to know both men
You
and
know,
women.
I'm kind of curious to see Rain Reynolds again.
Okay.
Just because in April what she was wearing was quite scary.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see what she's wearing now.
Okay.
I'd also like to see some of the people that were for Outstanding and Best Actor. I'd like to see kind of what they're wearing because it's, I think it's a matter of what's great for their body. We're celebrating our curves, we're celebrating our bosoms and all those great things. But what are they going to do? Is it going to be something very Hollywood and off the sleeve and very glamorous with a sheath that goes over it? Or are we going to wear something schlumpy?
Yeah.
That's kind of where my thought is. I think with the men, I'd love to see the men just in typical, skinny pants. Maybe even some bow ties would be kind of phenomenal right now because the dresses are going back to the eras of when those things. I mean, I think that would be totally appropriate for right now.
Yeah. Trevor Noah, I just love that he's in town. He's my favorite late night host.
Trevor.
And he's got it all going on. He's funny, he's smart, he's handsome, he's stylish. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he rocks on the red carpet. If he just stays traditional or does something I kind of like it when guys do something a little fashion-y, but not over the top.
Right.
Because it's still a formal event, and I think classic, sexy, traditional.
Right. But a little rock and roll.
A little rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yes, a little.
That's what I
Some
like.
people look more conservative, like Moran. I would like to see what he's wearing.
Yeah. Who?
Like Moran. Mark Moran.
Who's that?
He is, and I wrote this down here.
You mean like the podcaster?
No, he's outstanding. Hello.
Who are we
Supportive
talking about?
lead.
Wait, who are we talking
Mark
about?
Moran for Outstanding Supportive Lead.
Am I missing somebody?
You are missing something
Outstanding
here. Yes, you
Supporting
are.
Lead.
Yes, you are.
What show?
What show is?
Oh my gosh, I should know this,
Are
right?
you talking about Mark
Oh my
Maron
God,
from
I
Glow?
don't. I mean,
Say
I
it
knew
again?
he'd-
From
Mark?
Glow?
Oh,
From
yes,
Glow?
Glow.
Okay,
I
I've
looked
never
at him,
watched an
like,
episode.
Neither have I.
But you know,
have
but
not
he
either.
I admittedly
is
have
one
not
of the
watched an
favorites,
episode.
and he is.
I know Allison Brie is in it, and
He
that's
is,
what I know
but
about it.
he's actually nominated. And I would honestly like to see what he's going to wear. to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay, fair enough.
know,
How
I
about
mean-
you, Alina?
I'm with you on the guys wearing just a little something extra.
Yeah.
Because I feel like women have so much we could
A little
wear.
bling?
We could not bling. I don't know about bling.
Yes.
But I like it when I see men do a little something extra.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
that.
I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing my Deborah Messing. I love always. I think she rocks the red
I
carpet.
love Deborah
really great.
Messing.
I'm
Her
trying
dazzling
to think who
smile.
else.
She'll pull anything off.
Yeah, she does.
I'd love to see Tandy Newton.
Yes, she always
always
looks
rocks
fabulous.
the
Yeah,
carpet.
she rocks the carpet.
Yes.
I want to see some just typical A-listers. Typical A-listers that you wouldn't expect something out of the norm to see, what would they wear now?
Yeah.
From, previous others.
From previous ones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so jumping out of fashion really fast to Fox News.
Oh, so
What is
messy.
up with Fox? I did not think I'd be spending this much time on Meet the Hollywood Press talking about Fox News every week, but I'm going to put a standing segment at this point.
I think so.
So Michael Avenatti, who is Stormy Daniels, the porn star that Donald Trump paid off just prior to the election to
Right.
stay silent. Finally, when I guess Tucker Carlson on Fox News has been calling him the creepy porn lawyer is
Right.
like the label he actually
so
addressed,
creepy.
which is just like such a brainwashing. Like when you think about it, like you constantly say.
Yeah.
That actually is a whole psychological thing
It
when a
is.
viewer continues to hear something
Called propaganda.
Like
Do you think he's
Hillary. What was his nick? His
Crooked.
Name? Crooked Hillary.
Right.
Crooked Hillary. Like that's a psychological thing. He was constantly calling him that. Well, Michael Avenatti kept denying his request to come on the show. Michael Avenatti finally agreed, but he said, if you agree not to talk over me, if you agree to let me actually say my side of the story, I'd be happy to come. And by the way, Michael Avenatti can handle himself like a pro on television. He's actually considering a
Running for
presidential
president.
run on the Democratic side. So he went on the show, and Fox News, while he was airing, had a chyron that said creepy porn lawyer, and he didn't know it, obviously, as he's speaking. So he went on CNN this morning, and boy, did he rip into Tucker Carlson. But what do you think, Alina, of this?
Oh, this was so wild.
Oh my God, it's so messy.
Sometimes I wake up and I'm just like, this day is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S, because it's so bananas. Like, what world are we living in? I pulled some of the chyrons that
Oh my
rolled
gosh.
across that segment. So let's roll these. Okay, so the first one says Stormy's lawyer as creepy porn president.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay. The second one, like, it was all over the place.
All over.
All over. Okay, does America want creepy porn lawyer as prez? The third one, creepy porn
That'll make him
lawyer
come back.
toying with 2020. I mean, there were so many. Creepy porn lawyer talks about presidential run. I mean, he's really gone in, and the chyron was changing every like 30 seconds to something
To
new.
something
They
new.
even once like shortened creepy porn lawyer to CPL, so now they
Yeah.
have like an acronym for it.
Are we all going to wear t-shirts now? CPL?
Yeah, it's just, if you're a news organization,
Yes.
news being the
News.
key word here,
Yes.
this is not a chyron you put up.
No.
Period.
No, at all.
Just
That's why
saying.
I think that actually, although I vehemently agree with, say, his viewpoints on most issues, Tucker Carlson, I did at least think he was some kind of a journalist until like this happened. It's like you're losing like all credibility by doing stuff like this. And by the way,
Right.
shame on like the producers that thought
Right.
that was okay.
Everyone in the control room who
Yeah,
thought
how
that
do
was
you
okay.
actually? It's like have a do you have a conscience to let that? I mean, I've worked in news. You've worked in
Yeah.
news. We've worked in news. It's like that's not okay. It's
Right.
not
But
okay.
it's all about the ratings.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's
but it's
opinions and ratings. And that's really what it is.
But then
Stronger
don't
the
call
opinion.
yourself Fox News. Take
Yeah.
away the news.
Take away the news. Fox Opinion
Fox
Channel.
Opinion.
Call it what
Yeah.
it
They
is.
can do whatever they want.
I know.
Yeah,
That's the problem. They can say and do whatever they want.
they sure can.
So I actually have a tweet from Michael Avenatti.
I love his tweets, by the way.
Right, let's pull that up. It says, at Tucker Carlson, you talk a big game, but routinely don't back it up. So I challenge you to a moderated long-form debate, not a replay of the nonsense you pulled on Thursday. One where we both ask and answer questions, no interruptions, no name calling. Agreed? Oh, so there's a challenge
I
out
would
there.
love that. It's like when Jimmy Kimmel played basketball against Ted Cruz.
Oh, right.
They should totally do that debate, and for charity. I would totally. I
For
think
charity,
and do
right.
it for charity.
Yeah.
That
He
would
would do it. He
Michael
would totally do it.
Avenatti is a sharp guy. I
Yes.
will reserve my judgment because I'm actually all about Kamala Harris for 220 personally. But I feel like Michael Avenatti would be a strong contender for it.
He's one of the few people that can dish it just as much as
He can take
the
it.
other
He
side.
can.
Yeah.
He's got the skills.
He's
I
got
think
the
to
umph.
debate. Like I could picture him debating Trump and being
Right.
able to really.
Not getting thrown off his
Game.
No, and
heels.
then being
Yeah.
put in his place and expressing his opinion. I think Trump will respect anyone that has a strong opinion and is really behind it. That's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah. Okay, well, that about wraps us up for this Sunday. I am Joseph Kapsch, Chen Moonves. You've been tuning in. Anyway, Alina, can you quickly tell people where they can find the show?
Absolutely. You can watch us on AfterBuzz TV YouTube channel. Subscribe to MTHP on Apple Podcasts. Rate us, like us, subscribe to us. Of course, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Meet the Hollywood Press and on Twitter at Meet the HWD Press.
Meet us back here next week. Thanks for watching and listening.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.